The snap, Lamar Jackson back to throw, guns it into the end zone, intercepted, 2 yards deep in the end zone, intercepted by Taron Johnson, and he brings it out, and he's still on the run. He may go all the way. He's at the Baltimore 40, the 30, gets a block at the 20, 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown! Taron Johnson goes 102 yards with an end zone interception, touchdown Buffalo!
This is the Red, White, and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast with your hosts, Matt and Alex.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast, Bills news with a UK twist. And it's win number 2 in the postseason. Win number 2, one more big game to go before we reach the Super Bowl. This beard is still here. You can see how lovely it is. It's not coming off till the Bills lose. And we came, saw, and conquered the Ravens. Alex is here with me. Alex, how are you feeling after last night's game?
Pinch me. Is this real? This is.
I can't. You're in different screen. Different location.
I think it was after the Chiefs or Titans loss. We said, I think I asked you, was the Super Bowl ever on the table this year? And you were like, no. Let's win the division. Let's win a playoff game, and I'd be happy. So right now, I feel like we're playing with house money, and I wasn't upset when we were sloppy. I wasn't upset when it was tied, but I sure as shit was happy when we won and had that Taron Johnson.
So I'll ask you this then. Obviously, we went back and we said after the Kansas and Titans loss, is it Super Bowl bust and all that? Would you class it as a failure if next week we lose the championship game, or would you class it as a success that we even reached that championship game?
I mean, it's absolutely a success because you look at the trajectory of this team. We're still climbing. I'd say maybe if we add, 1 or 2 more pieces, then we plateau at the top. And we're right there. Yeah. Obviously, we're about to play in the AFC championship game. Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. I will continue to be shocked by this, but also we fucking deserve to be here. I mean, exactly. All season long, if player A doesn't step up, player B does. If player B doesn't step up, player C does. If the offense has a mid game, the defense picks up for it. If the defense isn't doing too great, Allen throws for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. This was a game where we were getting punched in the mouth and we punched back. This was a team, the Ravens, that were able to give us a new identity, a new level, a new commendation. Because this was the most physical game that we've played all year. This was the most physical opponent we played all year. We talked in the preview show. The Bills are a finesse team. And today, last night, today for us, we proved that we can play this style of football as well. So, absolutely, that this is, a success no matter how you put it. And if we do lose to either Kansas City or Cleveland, I won't be upset because I know we'll be back here next year.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with it, it's good because we had that. It seems like we took the game plan that we had last year with Jackson and actually and applied it again, which was good. I think
we improved upon it actually. When you look at the amount of pressure that we brought on him. That wasn't really evident last year.
To be honest, I don't know if you can check it or not. I have a feeling that.
Yeah, let me look at pressure rate from last year's game.
Yeah, because I think Jackson, he threw 162 yards. He rushed for 34. I think last year he threw for 169 and rushed for 44 or 50 odd yards.
Contain, yes, but I'm talking about our defensive line, in a game where they weren't expected to do anything, got pressure on 55% of his dropbacks. Last game, we got pressure on 26% of his dropbacks. We were in his face all game. We said, hey, your offensive line wants to be aggressive. We could do it. And I mean, I was saying earlier in the game, I was like, man, this is a game where Ed Oliver's size is going to play to a massive disadvantage for us. But that dude is strong. I will never, ever again doubt Ed Oliver. I mean, I wasn't one of those guys who said, oh, he's not on the stat sheet, he sucks. I was never that guy. I was always saying he does things that opens up space for everybody else. But his ability to get off blocks and stop runs and get in, you know, it's just every single person on that defense did their job to the best of their ability and to the game plan. Just such a credit to McDermott, Frazier, every single coach on that defense. Just perfect almost. Well, yeah, probably. I mean, they scored 3 points. I'm going to say perfect.
Yeah, I mean, they could have had They could have had another 3-6. Could have had another what?
Yeah, just
they could have actually won that game. They could have had about 20 odd points.
Well, yeah, I mean the backup quarterback who missed that deep pass to
and obviously the 2 doinks.
Yep.
Doink the clowns coming in.
I loved watching Tucker be surprised that he missed. Like, yeah, dude, you're not perfect. You're the best kicker probably in NFL history in terms of your numbers. But yeah, just his was hilarious.
Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, as you're saying with the defensive line and Oliver, I mean, the stats don't matter. I mean, look at Star Lutulegi last year. He didn't show up on the stat board. People actually were berating him, saying he's waste of money and all that. But it's not the stat sheet; it's what he can actually do to disrupt that that line. And last year he was taking up those double teams on there. I mean, Oliver, he's come in. What was he? 9th overall a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
9th overall. You're expecting him to be the next Aaron Donald. Okay, he's not put up the stats on there, but again, as I've mentioned on previous podcasts that I've been on, it's not always about the stats. We can go through stats, like obviously Josh Allen is now 6-0 against top 10 defenses and all that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, it's what happens on the pitch that's going to define careers, define legacies on there.
Yeah, and it's almost a good thing that he doesn't get the stats because it's time for his contract to be renewed. He's not going to really have the stats to say, hey, pay me like Aaron Donald. So we might be able to get him at a really good team-friendly deal. I mean, there's just so much to talk about in this game. You know, I mean, game plan wise, I know Bills fans love to take receipts. I mean, Chris Sims, a dude who loves Josh Allen, picked Baltimore. Rodney Harrison, again, picked Baltimore. Stupid ass, dumb old man should go home. Terry Bradshaw picked Baltimore. These are guys who clearly don't understand.
The old Steve Smith, not the Carolina wide receiver, the other one. Or did he go by Stephen A. Smith or whatever?
Oh, yeah, Stephen A. Smith. Yeah, absolutely. These are guys who clearly don't watch the games because our defensive front seven really matches up well with Tennessee, and Tennessee has played Baltimore like 4 times in the last 2 years. We did exactly what they did. They said in the playoffs last year that our game against Baltimore created the template for how to beat Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
And we just took our template and we improved upon it. And for anybody to say that Baltimore's defense was going to completely shut down Josh Allen, you're crazy. You can't completely shut down Josh Allen. He had arguably his 3rd or 4th worst game of the year, but he still didn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
He played a smart game. If they didn't play in a typhoon, maybe he hits that deep pass to Diggs. I love to say I was right. In Baltimore's one-dimensional defense, we were able to completely sell out. That's the defense that we play. We're going to sell out to stop what you do best. A 50-50 team like the Colts gave us trouble. A 50-50 team like Cleveland or Kansas City will give us trouble. But I don't care because we played Baltimore this week, and we had the best game plan to stop them. And,
Yeah.
Leslie Frazier, if he does get a head coaching job now on this game alone, the dude deserved it,
Yeah. Well, if he does get a head coaching job this gig, we get an extra third round compensatory pick with the new rules brought in by the NFL.
Great.
If any team hires a minority coach from another team, that team will get a compensatory pick, which more likely is always going to be a third round pick.
Mm-hmm.
So, as much as we hate to see him go, maybe part of it would say, yeah, we get an extra pick on there. But no,
Well, the good thing about Leslie Frazier is we don't know how much of that defense is McDermott.
Yeah.
So if Frazier
No,
goes,
exactly.
really McDermott is still here. I wouldn't imagine we lose a step on defense. Whether we bring in an internal hire or not, successful teams have this problem. They talk about losing their coordinators. Whenever we would talk about losing a coordinator, it's because we fired one of them. This is just such an amazing place to be in,
I mean, you've got the Chiefs. They've got Eric Bieniemy, who still hasn't got a head coaching job, and that's kind of worrisome for the rest of the league because he's still going to be tied to Mahomes, and obviously
everybody from the Reed
Baltimore
coaching tree gets a job, so it's weird that he hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, even McVay's coaching tree is actually getting more jobs at the moment, but no, it's a game. It was a game where I think I'm glad I had my knee in a brace, or I have my knee as it is, because there were times where it actually stopped me from jumping up and down and causing more damage to it.
So how did you celebrate that Taron Johnson interception?
It was just me pumping my fist, knocking my head, just moving every part of my body apart from my legs.
Man,
on there. Obviously,
that's a celebration where you need your legs. I mean, I jumped off the couch. My wife, who was half asleep, she even started freaking out. It was just.
I couldn't.
It was beautiful.
I already woke my missus up once when I was actually just getting out of bed to watch the game as
you took
as
a
my
nap. Yeah?
Hey,
you napped?
I had about what hour kip or something like that. But
watching the Packers game, I was like, shit, I should go to sleep. But I wasn't nervous like I was for the Colts game. I was excited, but also a little bit subdued. I just wanted to watch good football, and man,
exactly.
Was not good football. I said on Twitter, like, if you're not a fan of these teams, this game sucks. And it was a lot like the Jacksonville game where it was just like, ugh, this is just defense. I mean, this is just defenses doing their job, which, if there's no interceptions or sacks, and it's really not that exciting. But
no, exactly.
I'll take it. When it's a W, I don't care what it looks like, especially in the playoffs. So anybody, assholes like Nick Wright, if you're going to go out there and say, oh, Allen didn't do enough, hey, teams win like this in the playoffs. So if anybody has a criticism of anybody on this team, you can go fuck yourself.
Stop giving him airtime. People stop giving this
I can't help
it. It's like that Jerry Coleman guy from last year.
Yeah. It's just one of those things where I see right through him. He's someone who is just playing a character to get that attention. He's not a morally, honest human being at all. He's just playing a character. He's doing it for kicks. He's just a bankrupt, soulless human being.
No, exactly.
But let's talk about the Bills. Let's not talk about the haters. Let's talk about the Bills. I mean, Taron Johnson, first and foremost, right?
Yeah. I mean, everyone started picking on him at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think was it the Arizona game he got roasted in man-to-man coverage a few times.
Yeah,
but the resiliency of this team, right? I mean, he gets called on nickel blitz a few times and makes great. No, that was Levi Wallace, right? Levi Wallace on a corner blitz.
I think they rotate it.
Yeah, but I mean, just his work in the zone. Lamar too just stared down Mark Andrews, obviously, but Taron Johnson's ability to, get out of Lamar's view and then completely make that read, just perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, were you saying just take a knee? Or were you saying go? Because when he made a stutter and then stopped, and I'm like, just go down. I love it when they make plays like that, because I didn't want the ball at the 5, you know.
If he stuttered in the end zone, I would have said actually go down, take a knee. But I think that stutter, as soon as he stuttered just outside the end zone, then at that point you just have to say run.
You gotta
run,
go.
bastard, run for us, run.
Yeah, I mean,
for it.
He made a great play. I mean, Trey White matching Lamar Jackson's speed. I mean, you love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I
wish it was 102 yards so he could have the record, but it's only tied for the record. 101 interception return yards in the playoffs. Whatever. Bills are breaking records, tying records all year long. What's another one, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the game itself. I mean, you're talking about Taron Johnson. You look at this. You look at the whole defensive line. I mean, beginning of in our preview show, I said keep an eye out on Trent Murphy.
Yeah,
because he may not have the stats. He may not actually get the tackles, the sacks.
He gets
that
set for most games, you know. He gets a healthy. But
when he came in for the running plays, he really set that edge, forcing Lamar to either stay inside the pocket or scramble out. Where we got 4 sacks, 2 by Hughes, 1 from Addison, and 1 from Levi Wallace. It's going back to what we said about obviously Ed Oliver last year, Star Lutulele. It's not always about stats. I mean, everyone started moaning with Murphy. We're paying him. He's got a $9 million cap hit or anything like that. But that $9 million in this year in this game has got you to that AFC Championship game.
Absolutely.
I mean, could you be honest here? Could you see the likes of Addison, Epinesa, or Hughes actually doing what Trent Murphy did and set that edge? They're more.
Hughes did it, but no, I couldn't imagine Epinesa being able to do that yet. You know, there's not really enough film on him in the NFL to be able to say if he could have done it or not. I know that he got a few snaps here and there, but it's like Murphy's skill set is tailor-made for contain, you know. Just seeing what our defensive line did all game was just perfect to a T. And I know that ESPN after the game talked about how the Ravens, I think it was Jeff Saturday, the old Colts offensive lineman, said that the Ravens offensive line is built more for run blocking, not pass blocking. And you know, you look at what we did. We didn't just try and crash. We didn't just try and beat our guys and try and get a sack. It was contain. And when Lamar held the ball, then you're slowly collapsing the pocket. You know, it was like if Lamar was claustrophobic, you know, this would be a good example to show, you know, what happens in that scenario, because he played poorly. You know, it's like getting trapped in an elevator, but it's like, you know, it's that Star Wars clip where the trash compactor is closing in on you. That's what our defensive line did to Lamar Jackson all game last night.
I mean, don't be surprised if you see Trent Murphy next week. I mean, if it's the Chiefs, don't be surprised to see Murphy actually try and do exactly the same, because we know Mahomes likes a scramble as well on there, and he can be that spy on there. But it's just the all round.
Did Murphy play against the Chiefs this year?
Let me
look. Keep making your point.
I think he did. But it's just the whole defense itself. I mean, Edmonds probably had one of his best games this year. I mean, even AJ Klein, when he actually came in,
they played their best game on defense. I mean, Milano completely shut down Mark Andrews.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we've obviously got Norman. I mean, they only really had Marquise Brown that they really threw it to, other to Andrews, and they were pretty much majority 9 times out of 10 shut down. There were a couple of times where
did not play against the Chiefs earlier this year.
Okay, but I mean, they had, apart from right at the end where Tyler Huntley actually used Snead quite a bit. I mean, you had Marquise Brown and Mark Andrews, the ones that took the majority of it. Obviously, towards the end, you had Boyking, Sneed, and a little bit of Dobbins coming in
Yeah, I mean,
on there. But
end of the game there, I mean, it really was just us playing a vanilla defense. So, when the game mattered, our defense made plays all over the field. Dobbins had a few, I mean, on that first drive, it was 10, 12, 9. I was like, oh shit, here we go. But we held them to a field goal attempt. And that's
no,
what you want your team to do.
Yeah. I mean, that obviously that interception is the Lamar Jackson up until then had never thrown, was like Josh Allen
Knock
since
on wood.
2018 when they both came in, that never threw a interception in the red zone.
Yeah.
The only person now since 2018 not to throw a red zone interception is Josh Allen. 68 red zone touchdowns, 43 passing, 24 rushing, 1 receiving, no interceptions, just 1 fumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's Josh Allen's record in the red zone since he's come in. Lamar Jackson was only the other guy that actually can do it. I mean, if that doesn't show how much Josh Allen has actually gone up, has progressed as we go along, and I mean, today, as we mentioned earlier, he had a so-so game. Maybe there was external factors, obviously like the wind, a little bit that didn't help on deep balls. There were a couple of times where he actually probably could have done something different with it, but it's just showing how much confidence he has and how much the front office and the coaching staff have actually worked with him that much that we're getting to that conversation that he is rightfully an MVP consideration for this year. He probably won't get it. It'll probably go to Aaron Rodgers, but
that's fine.
We
I
know
don't
that
care.
he is in that conversation, and next year, whether he has the ball or not, he's going to have loads of offensive coordinators that haven't got a job that actually would want to work with him. And obviously, you've got Dorsey and Chad Hall, who I actually know inside, that can just help him expand even more. I think.
Yeah, I'm feeling Ken Dorsey for OC like nearly 100%. So, I mean,
unless
let's
obviously
talk about
DeVoe
Allen's
takes
day.
him. Yeah, okay, go for it.
In our fantasy football group chat, we have one guy who doesn't pay attention to the chat until after the game. He goes back and reads it. And during the game, we critique. I like to break down the plays. Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? Did you see this? Did you see that? Obviously, that's what we do. He says we're too cynical, where we critique too much. But those two words are really important to differentiate between. It's okay to critique. We're not being cynical,
Yeah.
Allen's day, did you expect more?
I kind of did. I mean, from the last few weeks where this offense has actually been lighting it all up and all that, for him to have a meh game as you put it, still had decent stats, 62.2% completion percentage, 90.4 quarterback rating. I think there could have been a little bit more he could have done on that. Maybe on some of those deep balls, maybe there was an option down, or maybe just like the matchup, Diggs got separation, went for it. I think we could have probably expected just a tiny bit more from Allen, but at the end of the day, he's got what he's got in front of him. He makes the plays. I mean, he only had through 23 completions. I mean, I think anytime he throws like under 23, under 25 or so completions, he is just more likely that the Bills are going to win, because there's obviously he makes use of those. I mean, Diggs went for pretty much half, if not more, of Allen's passing yards.
It was Allen and Diggs. Brown had as many catches, not as much production. But it's interesting to look at this way. Our opponent next week, Kansas City or Cleveland. Kansas City put up 34 on Baltimore. Cleveland put up 42 on Baltimore. We were only able to put up 17. Wind or no wind, We can't make excuses for Allen for the rest of his career. We're not going to get a dome.
Exactly.
All right. They're not going to do that. They're not going to build a new stadium and have a dome in 2 years. Okay. This is a game where he needed to do better. Nothing to Cole Beasley. Weird.
Yeah.
Gabe Davis dropped that touchdown. Really tough catch. I can't imagine the completion percentage expected rate on that was anything more than like 20%, you know?
Humphreys did have good coverage on him as well on that one. So
hit Davis in the hand. So there's that, but I don't think that's on Allen. That's on Davis. But the way he was pressured, and I think possibly the lack of a run game removed Baltimore biting on our play action.
Yeah,
and I think that bothered me because on our one touchdown drive, we ran the ball. If we had more of that in the first half, it maybe could have kept Baltimore honest and opened something up. Credit to Baltimore defense, you know.
Then would you put that on Josh Allen? Obviously we know in the past he's called audibles, changed the plays at the line of scrimmage if someone doesn't like. But would you put? I'm going to just flip it a little bit just to see. Would you put it on Allen or would you put it on Dable, just sticking to strength and not putting in the run game on that? I mean, we had obviously with the couple of kneels that Josh Allen did at the end of the game, we were 29, 30, 32 yards on 16 attempts.
How many runs did we have in the first half? 2? 1?
1, I think.
I mean, you tell me, is that okay?
That's not okay. I mean, I understand that they wanted to play to their strength, but I can't remember if I did mention it in the preview show or not, but I understand kind of why they started calling more pass plays to try and spread it out a bit on there. Because I know obviously the Ravens like to blitz quite a bit, so you try and get the pass game going. So at least you step them back a little bit. You actually attempt to cool off a little bit.
No, you're right, because when they blitz, someone should be open.
Yeah,
so I completely understand, and plus passing is our strength, absolutely.
Yeah, but then that first half, I barely saw any blitzes from the Ravens. So at that point, it looks like you're nullifying it. That's where they should at least put a couple more.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't have the advanced stats yet, but I'm pretty sure the Ravens did still blitz a lot in the first half.
Yeah, I think they started blitzing more. I thought in the second half. I think first half they still did blitz, but
they didn't really get pressure either, you know. So
no.
I mean, I think a lot of it goes to credit their cornerbacks. I mean, Humphrey, Smith, and the other guy. It's not here
Marcus
right now.
Peters.
Yeah, I mean, they just did a fantastic job. I mean, Cole Beasley, 1 target, I think. So
yeah,
taken out. Knee injury could be a bit to that. Knox, I think Dawson Knox had 2 catches. I mean, when they blitz, someone should be open as a hot read. And Allen took a lot of shots downfield. I get it because they're only playing one. They're playing cover 1. So there's only one high safety. You have matchups. The first deep shot to Diggs, he was single covered when he threw the ball, but then the safety really got over there in a good time, overthrown. The second one to Diggs, had him overthrown. I think we have a different conversation, obviously, if Gabe Davis catches and if Diggs catches. Other than that, though, I mean, that's only 2 plays. I would have liked to see a scheme where we were able to get the ball out a bit quicker and get some yak yards like Pittsburgh did when Pittsburgh beat Baltimore. But, you know, we're talking about a win, so I don't want to be overly critical.
I think the one thing they need to get McKenzie the ball a lot more. I mean, he can do stuff that some people can't do, especially on jet sweeps and all that. You want yaks and you want to test the run. You do it through McKenzie, and we know what he can actually do and what he's actually done this season. In the playoffs, they haven't utilized him that well. I mean, he's had the 2 games. He's had 2 receptions for 8 yards. for a guy that against the number one defense in Miami, actually had pretty much a career day in there, you thought you would actually ride him a little bit more and scheme a bit more in. But
possibly,
at the
but
end of
when you look at our opportunities, I mean, it's just a credit to how deep our offense is.
yeah,
Targets are plays to McKenzie, take targets and plays away from Diggs, and I don't want to do that. I
yeah,
would have
okay, no, that's fair enough. I mean,
obviously, longer drives, more plays. That's when you can do it. On some of those third downs, give me a jet sweep, give me a screen pass, yak yards,
yeah,
give me something like that.
our field position was good the majority of the time, so we had no real need to use McKenzie and all that. But on some of the ones where we started a little deeper, maybe like the start halves and all that, when we got the obviously the kickoff back, maybe then would be the time to use McKenzie in a couple of packages just to actually start it off. I agree. Don't try not to take away much from Diggs on there, but and yeah, there are some plays on there that you will need Diggs on. I mean, he's the second Bill in franchise history to have back-to-back 100-yard games in the postseason in the same season.
Yeah,
the only other one
you
was
definitely
James
don't want to take
Lofton.
targets away from him.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of credit has to go to Baltimore's defense. It was a playoff game, and they shut down Tennessee, and they did enough. I mean, they held us to under 20 points, but luckily our defense played a much better game. I'm really interested to see what Kansas City does tonight, to see, what the rest did for them. The Browns were able to let Pittsburgh kind of come back in it. I'm thinking our offense is going to have a lot more opportunities next week. How amazing is it that we're talking about next week?
Exactly.
Going back to the first topic of the show, this is awesome.
The one I just want to put in, this is not a moan, this is not a criticism. It's just one thing I want to see them actually improve on a little bit.
Probably going to be a criticism,
evident. A tiny bit. It's not massive.
But
I mean, the last 2 weeks.
It's okay if you're coming from a place of help, which you are.
The last 2 weeks we've seen, and I've said this on Twitter last night, it's the tackling on there, because there have been times. It was last week with Taylor, this week on some of the tackles that we've tackled them, we've stopped them for a no gain, or we could have stopped them for a no gain loss, but we didn't complete the challenge, and there were so many missed tackles. And I know McDermott is that stickler for a good tackling team. I think that's the one thing. If we face the Browns or we face the Chiefs, I think that's definitely going to be something that they need to work on, because they're going to have Chubb, Hunt, Beckham, Landry, those guys who can break challenges that you need to wrap them down. And obviously Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Kelsey.
With Tyreek Hill, it's about
that you need to get down. So with that, I'm just hoping that McDermott does work a little bit more on there, because if we start tackling right, we can contain a lot more, and it'll make it a little bit easier to get these 3 and outs, get that defense off the field more. Because I mean, what was it? The Ravens had like 36 minutes of possession in that whole game. That takes a toll on the defense. But if we can nail down those tackles, get the losses, make them play behind so they get the 3 and outs, I think it'd be a lot more easier. That's really the only thing.
I agree with you. I think you're maybe overdoing it a little bit, because
I might be, but
we haven't been a great tackling team all year, and we've talked about it all year. They're not going to fix it in 1 week, but Lamar Jackson, 9 attempts for 34 yards. J.K. Dobbins, 10 attempts, 42 yards. Gus Edwards, 10 attempts, 42 yards. You want to talk about 3 and outs? I think they had 3 or 4 of them in the game. I understand that you want to make the first tackle. I agree with you. But they did the job.
Yeah. Oh no. I get it. They got the job done. But
I saw Poyer miss 2, but that's it. So that's okay. No one missed 5 tackles in a game. And there was always someone to get there.
I mean, my only example, obviously, with McQueese Brown, he obviously 4 yards, 87, 4 receptions, 87 yards, 21.8%, 21.8 yards per reception. There were a couple of times where they had him down on there, and they could have tackled him down, but he actually escaped and they didn't complete it properly. As I say, it's not. I'm
He
not.
scored
I'm
3
not
points.
coming on here to criticize that. It's just something that I would be concerned about going into the next game. But
No, I completely understand where you're coming from, because it's the playoffs and you want to be perfect because you have to be almost. So
yeah,
I completely see where you're coming from. I guess because of our fantasy football group chat, I don't want to go too far into the criticism zone. I don't think Tom listens to this, but if he does, hi Tom. I hope you enjoyed the game. He was at the game.
yeah.
It's hard to pick apart a team that won a playoff game, especially when they only allowed 3
Oh
points.
yeah.
But we also only scored 17 points. I'm more worried about the offense having, I wouldn't say the Colts game was a bad game offensively, but this one was only 1 offensive touchdown. So, like I said, complete credit to Baltimore's defense. Their secondary is amazing. I'm not worried. I'm just hoping that Josh isn't too hard on himself, because we know he can be. So I was really worried at halftime. I'm like, is Josh going to be so pissed that he goes hero ball, or is he going to, shell up and go conservative? But a credit to him, his maturity and the coaching staff. They kept a level head all game, and even when things weren't going, they still stuck to it, and they got the job done. No matter what we did or didn't do, they got the job done. It's the playoffs, and that's all that matters.
So before I give the final word this time, because I usually give you that, quick off the top of your head, Chiefs or Browns, or do you not care?
I haven't answered that question yet, and I'm not going to again. I don't care.
Well, I've still got the poll up on Twitter. I think I put it up there. I gave 3 options: Chiefs, Browns, and don't care, Super Bowl bound. There's still, well, at the time of this recording, there's still 5.5 hours left to vote on there. So far, we've got the Chiefs at 12%, Browns at 41%, and just 47% of the 288 people that voted that actually said, "Who cares? We're Super Bowl bound."
All right, I'll quickly answer the question. The Chiefs are also one-dimensional, and we kind of held them.
Yeah.
The Browns worry me because Chubb and Hunt, but Baker can also throw the ball to Hooper or Landry. So the Browns being more balanced worries me. They're a lot like the Colts in that sense, but the Browns have a worse defense. So that's exciting.
Okay.
But I don't care, because we're in the AFC fucking championship game.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit. It doesn't matter who we play, because I trust this team. Look at what our defense did. Look at what our coaching staff did. Look at what Allen's done all year. I don't care. Bring it on. Let's go.
So my final, well, I've got 2 final words. I've got 1 announcement to make as well. But obviously we've got celebrity fans like William Fitchner, Chad Michael Murray, Wolf Blitzer, Abby Wambach, Chris Behrman, John Cusack coming out, and the one thing that I got really surprised about, which I saw last night,
Summer Sanders,
Formula One, and apparently Daniel Baldwin. We get a Baldwin, but
a Baldwin, not the best Baldwin, but
but we've got a Baldwin. But the one that really perked me up was Daniel Ricciardo, Formula One superstar, Australian, where he tweeted a picture. He's never been to Buffalo, never been through a table, but he's repping the Bills for it. I mean, if we can reach out to him, someone can reach out to him, we'll try tweeting him and all that. If the Bills do win the Super Bowl, he's got to do a shoey. Now, for all those that don't know who Daniel Ricciardo is, don't know what a shoey is, it's an Australian tradition where they take a shoe, they fill it with beer, and they just chug it down.
A fresh shoe, hopefully?
No, Daniel Ricciardo does it when he's done it from the actual shoe he was actually in the race with.
How long are those races?
So they can go on for about an hour and a half or so, about 70 laps,
How
depending
hot
on
is it in
how.
those cars? Oh my god! Oh,
Yeah. So he actually pours the champagne into the shoe and necks it. If we can
okay.
tweet out and reach to him on there, if he does, we'll actually we'll do that. And I mean,
Look, yeah, no, all right. If he does it, I'll do it.
yeah.
Sure.
Well, I've had to revoke what I said on yesterday.
Yeah, you
'Cause I
said you
went
would
on
go through
another
a table.
podcast. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen with my knee on there.
Yeah.
But if we win, I also said that if the Bills win the Super Bowl and Josh Allen wins the MVP. So I can't remember if I said Super Bowl MVP or regular season MVP, but
You gave yourself an out there.
I actually say, because obviously with my knee, I probably won't be able to do it for a good
Yeah.
God knows how long
But
on
you
there.
can do a
If they
shoey.
do win,
So
I can do a shoey,
if he
and
does
I
one
can
and
also
do
get a
it in Super Bowl, then
tattoo.
we'll do it too.
I can
I
even
just
get
volunteered
a
you for it.
tattoo of the Josh Allen Bills logo.
Okay. All right. Getting some ink. Very nice. Very nice. All right.
But the other thing just before we go is a special announcement. We finally got it. We finally are able to bring an interview with someone we've been chasing for a while. We will be bringing you an interview with Christian Wade.
Awesome. Can't wait.
We've managed, after what I think is about 2 years of trying, we've got him. We've roped him in. Hopefully it should be out within the next few days, but we're looking forward to it. I hope you keep the notifications on, you keep subscribing and following and sharing the at RWBB underscore podcast, UK underscore Bills, Buffalo Bills UK on Facebook and YouTube. And for this time, until next time, unless you have anything else to add.
No, man.
No.
Can't
So
wait
for
to
this
do
time,
an
until
AFC
next.
Championship preview show.
Yeah. So until that show, it's for Alex, it's for me. It's good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening, subscribing, and following. And go Bills.
Go Bills.